Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to share with you the weekly news. The first one is on TheVerge.com, and the title is called A Meeting in Google's 3D Chat Booth Felt Like Real Life Science Fiction. Okay, so if you take a look of this news, Google created the next generation 3D video chat booth that allows people to view each other. Feels really real, right? So let's see the setup. So pretty much there are a lot of different sensors to track all your motions, 3D depth. So it will create, just imagine in Zoom, but Zoom's image is very flat, right? Sometimes the resolution is really low, but this can make you look so real, just like you are sitting in front of that person. So let's take a look of, the video. So if you can see this
The
video.
last time I saw her was well over a year ago. Not being able to see my nephew in person is like, um, it makes me sad.
Feels people from different locations and they want to meet each other
So
through video
imagine
chat.
instead of looking at a screen, you're looking at a magic pane of glass. And through that glass, you're seeing another person on the other side.
Hi, can you see me? Say hi to Auntie. Oh my gosh, I love you. Eddie!
So, you look beautiful.
And then you just start having a conversation, just like you would if you were physically together.
Like, I feel like you're here.
This is wild. I can see that curl in your hair. I can see how your sweater is falling.
But then you'll be saying, put on a little lipstick, Maury.
There are really three breakthroughs coming together here. One is the ability to capture people as they are. The second is the ability to compress that information and send it over existing networks efficiently. And the third is the ability to render that person viewable through a three-dimensional display. So it really feels like you're talking with someone right in front of you.
We see this as a first step at applying technology to solve that really important problem that we often want to be together and we can't.
Don't say goodbye. Don't go away. That was mind-blowing.
I've seen a lot, but I've never seen this.
I felt like she was present, and I felt like I was present in that moment too. It was like she was here.
Yeah, so pretty much it's like a booth of the kind of video chat, but because of all the sensors, so if two people like in different locations, they sit and using that booth to communicate each other, they can feel that the person just right in front of them through that monitor or screens. So I think this is a very good usage of phone call. Before, long time ago, we used phone booths, right? You need to throw the coins and you call people and inside a little small areas. But now we have phones and we can talk to each other. But you see the quality of the phone call or a lot of calls. It's the resolution is really low, right? So this is kind of something that even though it's not I would say physically present or virtually present, but it feels like even though it's video, but the video feels so real. Yeah, and you feel they are be with you through the video streaming. And I think 5G will play a very important role here because you want live time, real time syncing. So I think this is wonderful, and there's a real usage of it. Now probably it's very expensive due to all the setup, but in the future, if things can be, for example, it can be a small device and allow and hang somewhere and allows you to do this. And I think this is a really good usage for seeing people more real, right? Okay, so any comments, feedback, feel free to unmute yourself and share what you think.
This is ET. I spoke to some Google folks at the Washington DC show on I think it was like the 13th of October. And I asked them why they stopped making the Nest, which is like the Alexa speaker. And he said that they're going to do more of the sensors, the mesh stuff that I guess they're kind of getting to. He didn't give me a lot of detail, but he says it's beyond the voice, it's the vision, it's the environment, a lot of different things. And it was a little crazy because we had speakers at the event that had built all of their apps on the Google Nest, and now they're saying, oh, and buy my app now because it's not going to be around much longer. So that was kind of sad, but that's how Google works. They do something good. I'm also been invited to test the new Google Glass. So, for doctors, because we had it like 3 years ago, and then they took that away because they couldn't keep the power and it had some other production issues. So Google is a big player, they got a lot of money and they could try these different things. But again, I think they want to be customer driven and enterprise driven. So a lot of things it's written in pencil right now. So it's a good time to work with them and push them to suit needs that are sustainable. Edgar, what do you think of stuff like this? Is this something that you could see happening, or is it just too out there?
No, I think it's really good. I think what I'm getting out of this is like a 3D FaceTime, right? But you actually see the depth on it, right? It's a 3-dimensional conversation.
Imagine
right?
it's a Zoom call, but that Zoom call is so real that you feel that person just sitting in front of you through a small window.
But I could see them doing like the Teams, where you bring in documents and you bring in, let's say you're doing a movie production, Edgar, and you're communicating with 5 different people, and they show you what they have, and you get to pick and choose what scenery or what backgrounds you want to use, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, it looks interesting. This is the kind of thing that I wanna know more about, and figure out what we can do with it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. I really like what Unity CEO John Riccitiello described what he thought about metaverse. So yeah, so this news is on fastcompany.com, and the title is called Unity CEO John Riccitiello describes the reality and distractions of the metaverse. So yeah, I think now Stephenson's book Snow Crash has been, the buzzword. Like inside there's a word called metaverse, where everybody will live in the virtual world someday, right? I think what Unity's CEO described is really true. He talks about, digital twins. And also, I really like what he said. He said that it's pretty much internet, right? Metaverse is pretty much internet, but with 3 dimension. Just think that, it's another dimension of internet where everyone can, do things, just doing the same thing as we are doing on the internet, right? So
An immersive internet.
Yeah, an immersive internet. So it's not like, sometimes we would think, oh, metaverse is like an entire world, but if it is internet, right, it's open, right? And it has a lot of varieties of it, right? It's definitely not, a small place that only can do a certain amount of things. It's a virtual place, which is open, like, sandbox game, right? Multiple online massive game, right? Everyone was having a second life there, right? And I know a lot of platform is focusing on game, right? For example, Roblox, focusing on kids game, where kids always hang out there. It has a lot of game. Later on, I will talk about the Fifa events, having a little, world in Roblox, and people experience it. However, I really think that this is more like immersive internet. How do we use internet? We use internet to buy things, to chat, to work, right? To communicate, to do everything that we can do in real life, right? But now it's 2D, and later on it will be 3D. I do think this is probably about more like we do whatever we do right now, and this is, metaverse so-called is more like we add another extra information, make product, 3D before we look at 2D picture, or a video that trying to show us 3D, but it's 2D, right? Now we can see another dimension of world. It's like there's a book called Flatland, right? Before, people living in a 2D, they couldn't see a high level things. Like it has some gender bias. Like the concept was more like a long time ago, husband and wife, right? And long time ago, it's not right now. A few hundred years ago, people think a wife is like 2D and husband is in 3D, right? So so it feels like that. If we use 2D things, then a lot of stuff, for example, I always tell a lot of people that what's the future of internet or metaverse? It's like, imagine you go to Amazon website. There are tons of information, right? You want to buy a shoe, right? You want to buy a shoes. However, you go to that page, right? And list of stuff. And even though you use filter, it's just every product just crammed together. And finally, you find out a beautiful shoes. You go to that page. You will see like tons of thumbnails, videos on top squeezed together, right? And button, you need to scroll down, right? And there's a screen limitation. And every time when you scroll down, and you forget everything on top, right? And you need to go back to the top and see, oh, yeah, I'm looking at these shoes, right? So this has information overwhelming. Even though there's when you do design, right, the website, it has a math called information architecture, but still it's overwhelming. But imagine if you want to buy a shoe in a 3D place, right, a virtual place, a virtual store. It's just like you shopping in the physical store. You go to that place, right, and you go to that section, right, or it's like general relativities, right? Whatever you think, things come to you instead of you come to things, right? And you go to a physical store and things you like already display in front of you, right? And instead of clicking, trying to find the right one, you look at different, 3D model, right? And there's no information overload, right? And you pick one, right? And a lot of information just show up according to what you like to see. So it's cleaner, right? So you don't need to long scrolling and trying to figure it out and trying to see, oh, what's the back? And, when we order on Amazon, we don't know what's the size, right? But in so-called metaverse, right, next generation of internet, probably can put it your shoe and trying to fit your feet, right? Maybe, the avatar totally fit, realistic, right? And when you find out fit, you like it, right? And you just purchase it, right? And next day, or in 10 minutes, there's a drone and with the actual shoes and fly to your door, and you just pick it up. The entire experience is supposed to be very real, right? So I would say, that's the next generation of experience design. Is that you feel like you are doing something that you will do in real world. It's not like, oh, there's something and it has to be blockchain based, NFT, whatever, right? It's cool. There's course, there are a lot of fancy new stuff according to technology has been invented. But I think at the end, we always need to go back to human, right?
Yeah,
How
you're talking
can
about
we-
the user experience. Like you need a good user experience design to be able to efficiently use it and make
Yeah.
it be a good experience, really.
Yeah.
Instead of being
So
bombarded with information that you don't necessarily need at all times.
yeah, right. So you see, you buy a shoes, right? You just need to take that shoe and take a look. Amazon trying to convince you by putting all the images and all the stuff, right? All the stuff. Oh, this is made of whatever materials and using, 1,000 words to describe it. But if you are seeing the actual shoes, you don't need any words, right? And you don't need the long scroll, right? So I do think that, the future of internet, I'm really looking forward to it. I know people are trying to gamify it. I mean, later on, we will talk about how not fun to gamify everything, right? But I would think that, I totally agree with, next generation or metaverse supposed to be, you live there and it doesn't really need to gamify everything. I mean, gamify is interesting concept, but there are something, for example, like in psychology, gamification is more for external types of people. They need reward in order to do something. Reward is the motivations for someone to do something. For example, kids. Kids are so addicted to games. Why? Because games always has feedback and has something that stimulate their, their brain and make them feel happy like you are having drugs, right? Addictive. But for people who has intrinsic motivation, for example, I exercise because I feel good about my body, right? And for those who has intrinsic motivation, will stay longer about that habit, right? So you see people who always work out in the morning, wake up early in the morning, do they get like, oh, you got like a 10 scores, congratulations, you go to the next level? No. Why? Because they know this is good for me internally, right? So the interesting thing about all the gamified platform, why people are, or adults like me, are not interested. Why? Because I feel like if in the future, we only live a place where it has shallow dip games, I feel sad. We have such a lovely heritage, history, like Shakespeare's books, all the beautiful, historical knowledge. How can you teach all those and make it? I mean, make it game is fine, right? But you see a lot of movie adapt from books. Sometimes books has more, things than what movie can.
More information, more detail.
Yeah, right. So I feel like if we only focus on shooting games or, some really boring stuff that 5 years old kid will play all day, but, imagine you land on a metaverse so-called place, and there are some small games that only you can do, right? For example, like, I don't know, boring game or, kicking ball game. Yeah, I feel like those are not really tailored to, it's really off from currently what we use for internet. Yeah, so this is just my 2 cents. Any thoughts, comments for this?
I think Edgar, Dominic has had other guests that have talked about Roblox, and his name is Oscar. He's down south, and he said that he was learning from his kids how to do UX creation because at their school they were creating games to learn. And I'm seeing more and more of this. I've even talked to a guy here in Oakland, California, who is gamifying health stuff for nurses and doctors to learn anatomy, to learn, how a drug works through the body and make it interesting. Because, you used to get like, you've probably seen the technical manuals,
Yeah.
for a product, and you snooze trying to read it, you go cross-eyed, and when you need to find it, the answer, you can't find it. So being an interactive chatbot or some sort of frequently asked question, quick drill down, and make it a game. You have to problem solve this, or what are the symptoms, and you have to kind of diagnose the disease or something. And then you get to become a superhero, and get badges. So this is a thing now, and more power to them. And I wish we did have better tools. Hablamos español, right? So we not only want to do it in English, but we want to do it in different languages too. So
yes, that is actually something that it's an application that I'm kind of working on and off. We have something called the Tram Tour at the park, and we get people from all over the world. Obviously, this is a theme park, and we only offer the tour in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Chinese. But with the right device, I mean, and it doesn't even have to have a video screen; it just has to have like a GPS chip. We could have a tour that we could support so many other languages, and we just give them that device, they put it on, and by using GPS locations, it could start the narration and be able to tell always where you are and give you the right information of the sets that you're in, or the attraction that you're about to enter, and things like that in your language. And it's not virtual reality, but it's just kind of taking you into a different place, right? It's almost like every person on the tram could have their own language, and they're on their own world by having something that talks to them on their own language, and being able to understand the whole thing, and at the same time enjoy it more, get higher customer satisfaction, and which means more profit.
Yeah. So yeah, in the future, the world will grow in front of you. It's not you trying to find out the information. It's that, but there are some, things that is pros and cons, right? Because if everything is brought to you, then you might lose a chance to learn other language, right? For example, American, we all laugh at American. American, if someone say he or she is American, we probably can say, oh, you probably can only speak English, right? So yeah, it's like the other way, right? So yeah, so if everything is so convenient, right, and only talk to you, and it's probably a little hard to, I don't know, to think outside.
no,
Or
but
to get
that's what, no, but I think you're missing the point.
Mm.
You learned English at a young age, and you
Mm.
speak fluent Taiwanese. So the
Yeah.
time to teach the kids multilingual is when they're small. Their tongues and their vocal cords haven't fully adopted. My son spoke 8 languages by the time he was 7, because his dad and I would take us all over the world with his automotive business. Okay.
Oh.
So that's why I'm so interested in voice. Even when you can't use a chatbot, or you can't think in your own English voice, when people had COVID, they reverted back to their native tongues.
Yeah.
And that's what really got me interested. Why are we spending all this money on IBM Watson and all of these chatbots if people can't use them when they're really sick? So you made a perfect point, but turn it around, and rather than cause that to happen over and over again, give these learning tools to kids. Kids will get online and play with games with kids that don't speak English at all, but yet they're having fun, and they're learning in their own way how to communicate. And sometimes you communicate more with facial expressions or body language than you do with voice. So we have an opportunity here. I don't want to be so negative about that point, but you're a perfect case, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do agree that learning language. What my another point is that if, for example, everything is just so tailored to me, like for example, if some Chinese speaker, and when they go to Universal Studio and they can pick Chinese speaking language, and they kind of lose the chance to immerse themselves in the English environment. That's just me, because long time ago, my mom sent me to, summer camp to learn English when I was really young, like junior high school. And the first time I went to New Zealand, and second time I went to Australia, I didn't learn a lot of English. Why? Because I always hang out with Taiwanese people. And I remember first time when I came to America, I studied in art center. I only go with Asian girls, you know, that little group, and everyone speak Chinese Mandarin, right? And I feel like, wow, yeah, it's safe, it's comfortable, and yeah, it's great. However, later on when I start applying jobs and start doing things, I feel like, wow, you know, I used to only watch Japanese animation and Japanese drama and, you know, all Chinese stuff, but now I feel like I fully immerse with things when I get out of that comfort zone. But I mean, it's great. It's everyone's choice, right? You can pick, you can stay in the comfort zone, and you can also get out of comfort zone and just, you know, people go to Universal Studio. Maybe I can try Spanish, right? Even though I don't know what's going on, maybe I just immerse that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what your goals are. Some people go there to just have fun and relax, and they're coming from far away and they just want to get as much as they can out of it. Other people, maybe like you're saying, they want to immerse into the culture, into the language, and they may want to learn more. But everybody has like different goals when they get there. Some people go there with a specific idea that they just want to go to do a Harry Potter ride, and they want to buy the magic wand, and they want to go to all the windows and do the spells that you can do to make the things happen. But there's other guys that love Transformers, and they literally go to Transformers and do the ride like 5-7 times in a row because they love that. So it's different goals for different people. But the cool thing about something like being able to provide customized content on an individual basis that you can do with some type of device is that you can fulfill all those goals. Everybody can get what they're looking for the same ticket price.
Yes.
Regardless, and even within the same group. Maybe you have a few of you that want to try one language, but the rest of them don't. And everybody can be happy because with the device, everybody will get what they wanted. And at the end of the day, again, the goal with us is always customer satisfaction, because you're selling an experience. You're not selling a tangible product. You're selling an experience. You're selling memories. You're selling a trip that you have with your family, and you want it to be the most memorable trip that you ever had, hopefully. And with that, by being able to customize content delivery on an individual basis, I think that's kind of like our ultimate goal, and we have tried to do it in many ways. But virtual reality and augmented reality opens many doors that we haven't actually opened yet, or even tried to open. And we have a lot of ideas. And one of my jobs, I've been there for about 7 years. For the first 4 years, all I did was build prototypes. I built prototypes. They will give me hardware. They'll tell me what they wanted for software, and I will make it up. I will write it. I will write the software. I will interface with new hardware that I have never seen before, and I will come out with a prototype. Most of the prototypes, unfortunately, don't get deployed for multiple reasons.
It's normal. It's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal. But at the same time, you learn so much from each one of those experiences. And then the next one, you don't start from zero. You start at a better place. Right now, I haven't been able to pick a headset, and that's kind of what I wish I could figure out. Is there a headset that I can buy now that will allow me to do what I'm trying to do?
I personally think Quest Pro is probably a good thing if you think. I think you probably can afford Quest Pro, right? Quest Pro, and if you order it during the release day, which is a few weeks ago on Tuesday, the Connect, Facebook Connect, Meta Connect. But I ordered right on the spot when it announced, and then I go to the site and it's there, and I just immediately purchased. And it will deliver 25th, next Tuesday. So yeah, I'm pretty happy, and I will try it. And today, actually, I'm going to buy Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban is kind of like an AR glass that's very similar.
That's the other one. That's the other one. I couldn't remember the name that I was trying to figure out the Ray.
Oh, Ray-Ban Smart Glass. It's like a 300
something. No, you're talking about the ones with the cameras on the side, right?
Yeah. It's like a long time ago.
Those are real popular up here in Silicon Valley. You see people wearing them everywhere, even at the beach. And I always say, or at the park, the ride park, I'm afraid they're going to blow off,
Yeah, I want to buy that.
But Edgar, the good news is that there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. I don't know if you pay attention to CES in January. there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Okay.
Wow.
And I
And
think
actually,
prices,
I kind of want to
prices
go
will
to
be
CES
competitive.
again.
Well,
Yeah, I was trying.
but
Sorry,
what
go ahead.
I'm excited, but there was a delay. You know, the stuff should have come out this year, but because of supply
Oh,
chain
wow.
COVID, everything is delayed. And you know, I need like 1,000 pairs to do clinical studies. So it's not like, hey, I'll take a beta, I'll take one's headset. Now,
Yeah.
if you're going to use this for Alzheimer's treatment, you know, then we have to have 1,000 pair and do studies here in Europe and Latin America, you know, so.
Yeah, I was trying to find something like comparable to the HoloLens, but cheaper than the HoloLens.
I think
Because
the Quest Pro, try it.
Yeah, I think the Quest Pro, it sounds to me like the Quest Pro can do VR and AR, right?
Yes.
And that's
Quest
what I'm interested in.
Order it. I mean, I ordered it. I mean, yeah, I work there, and I think that will be my first choice.
Yeah,
Just to learn.
I've been sharpening my skills on Swift because I was gonna go the Apple way to try to develop some AR applications because the developer skill looks very solid. I look a little bit into Unity, but I'm liking Swift a little bit more right now. And then I'm also looking into Maya for creating custom 3D content. And so I'm hoping by the time I figure out the headset thing, I'm already up to speed with the development tools, and I already have a few ideas of some prototypes that I want to build, and then see how it goes.
Yeah, I would say for me, XR, right? XR apps supposed to focus on user experience. Why? Because you see, like there are so many apps out there, and then there's no usage for it. It's like fancy technology, and people figure it out. I think we need to find out the user and what's the problem, and we kind of solve the problem, even though it is not, XR solution. We're supposed to solve problems, and if another extra dimension can solve it, then let's do it, right? Because some people, they just say, oh, I want to create an AR game, or oh, I want to create an AR app. This feels like a reverse, right? We should go back to what's the problem and find out the best way to solve it. And it doesn't really have to be AR or VR or MR. Yeah, it is just like some outside thoughts. Okay, so the next one, that next news is on theguardian.com. And the title is called Lost in Roblox FIFA World. Everything wrong with the metaverse in one place. Okay, so I mean, it's very interesting that you see, like I think the author, I saw his picture. His name is Keith Stuart. Yeah, Roblox is for kids, right? And for adult like me, I probably will get bored, right? And you go to here, right? And since it's like a 2D platform, as far as I know, Decentraland, Roblox, they are more for 2D on the platform. It's not yet to be a virtual reality thing, but you can open the web browser in your VR headset and you can still feel like you are in VR, but it's not. It's 2D browser and you are trying to feel like you are in kind of thing. So imagine you play a game with the football game, and there are a lot of things and it's on the screen, and you just use your little finger and swipe or click the ball and make the ball move. I played VR golf, little mini golf inside Quest 2 headset. It feels not too bad because my arm is sweaty, right? And I was doing a lot of things, even though I was teleporting with different places. Although it's not as immersive as the real world, right? If I go to a mini golf place, then I can totally feel the sun, the air, right? Everything because in Quest 2, you still need to be confined in a small area. Sometimes I just get out and I have to go back. And sometimes, the scene need to re-render. It still not feel so real. And when you hit the ball and, your club, well, get through the ball or something, or get through the environment. So it's not really real, but it's kind of trying to be real. As far as 2D screen, right? It's like a 2D platform and you use your mouse click. I can tell how not so fun for it, and you are just trying to, you buy some tickets so you can start kicking the ball and get your score. Yeah, I feel like this is probably for kids, right? So the journalist, he went there and experienced all those, you see, he even spent some random ticket and play some different games, for that metaverse. Okay.
Excuse me, Dominic, you wanted me to remind you when it was time to move over to your next session because people will be knocking on your door.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
9:50, my alarm just went off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for reminding.
Edgar, you can see we cover a lot of different things, and you can send articles if you want to discuss, or even maybe you want to present, and I want to work with you to explore the VR headsets because you and I have mutual goals, and maybe I can get a lead. And if I say, hey, I have a friend at Universal Studios that's interested, maybe I can even get you a beta set, so, So anyway, let's wrap this one up. I pinged you on LinkedIn and my email, and we'll see you at the next session if that's okay.
Yeah, cool.
I gotta take care of a work call right now really quick, but I'll join you guys in a bit. Okay?
Cool. Awesome. Then thank you so much, Emily, for reminding me.
Thank you, and very nice meeting you.
Yeah, cool. Then see you all next week. Bye-bye.